in this video, we will be looking about the today's daily problem in LeetCode, that is search in a rotated sorted array. First, you need to be clear about what is a rotated sorted array.
Rotated sorted array. First, just consider an array 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just a simple sorted array. Okay. Now, what do you mean by rotation? For the first rotation, the element at the first position just moves to the last. Okay. So the array becomes 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1. What about the second rotation? Now the element at the first position just moves to the last. So 2 also go to the end, and the array becomes 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. So this is simple. This is simple rotated sorted array. So how we are going to solve this problem means we will be using the binary search with a twist. That is, we will be choosing a pivot element and finding the position with two sorted arrays. So we take the pivot element as 5. So now we have two sorted arrays, 3, 4, 5 as one sorted array and 1 and 2 as another sorted array. So we got this. Now we need to search in this 3, 4, 5 one binary search and 1 and 2 another binary search. How we could find the pivot element? See, the pivot is the only position that will be having the descending order. That is, every next element is greater than the previous one. See, 5 is greater than 4, 4 is greater than 3, but 1 is less than 5. That is our condition. With this idea, we are going to solve today's problem. Okay.
So hopefully you could have understood what is a rotated sorted array. There I will be telling about something called a pivot. So first we need to find that pivot. So let pivot is equal to, I'm going to have a separate function to find my pivot. How? Just by passing my array. So let me write the function for that. So public, it's just going to return an integer value int find pivot, take my nums. Okay, just this is a simple binary search. Int s is equal to 0 and end is equal to nums dot length minus 1. So first and last index. So how will we be performing the binary search? While start less than or equal to my end. Take your mid is equal to start plus n minus start divided by 2. So if my mid is less than the value of the end and my element at that particular mid is greater than nums of mid plus 1. So we already seen this. Here this would be the condition. If this is the mid, this is going to be greater than this element. So that would be only one position, that is the pivot. The pivot only will be having this descending. You could see this in the entire array. Only these two elements 7 and 0 will be in the descending order. Other than that, every element is going to be in ascending order. So that we have found the pivot element. What is? Return the index itself. Yeah, return mid. So this is not the case. Then else if my mid is greater than start and my nums of mid is what? Lesser than nums of mid minus 1. So now I'm checking about this case. What if this 0 becomes a mid? So this is the only case where this would be lesser than this, because every element, see, 1 is greater than 0, 2 is greater than 1, 7 is greater than 6. Every next element is greater than the previous one, but this is the only case where it would be lesser. So now the pivot is m minus 1. So what happens if we didn't find that? So if we didn't find that, we need to check. So let it be just simple if. We need to check what if. Okay, just check nums of mid is less than nums of what? Start. That would be the first case. So if this is the condition, what? So how could I take this? Yeah, if this is the case, 1 is less than the start, right? 4, which means any values other than this pivot would be lesser than the start value, because since it is rotated, this have to be lesser than the starting index. It would be at the first, but since it is rotated, they all came at the end. So that is the only case. Then what you need to do? So you are in this part. So I'm just going to say my end is equal to mid minus 1. This is not the case. Then what? My start is going to be mid plus 1. Clear? So hopefully I thought you understood what is this, because we are in two different Just think of this. I already said this. We would be in the having two different sorted arrays merged together in that same order without thinking about them. So you need to find that pivot element. If none of them works, right? None of them works. What I need to do? After the loop, I'm just going to return -1. So now I've got this one. So other than this, I also need to have simple public int binary search. This is simple. You just take this nums, start index, end index, mid is equal to what? Start plus n minus start divided by 2. Just do this straight away binary search while start less than equals to end. How will you do this? If my nums of mid is greater than my also need a target, right? Int target. If my nums of mid is greater than my target, which means your middle element is greater than the target. So you need to check in the left hand side, right? Check in the left side. So my end is going to be mid -1. So this is not over there. Over here. So this is one case. Other thing is if my nums of mid is less than my target. So if it is less, see my nums value is very much less. So check in the right side. So how will you check? Start is equal to mid plus 1. So else nums of mid is equal to my target. Just return that middle. Simple, it's easy task. Just a simple binary search. And yeah, if none of them executes, just return -1. The element is not found. So we have done this. Now check if pivot is equal to -1, which means the array is itself sorted. There isn't any rotations. So just simply go for that binary search with your nums. Start be 0, nums dot length -1, and your target is the same target. Okay. This is one case if the pivot is 0, or else if check where nums of pivot is equal to your target. What you need to do? Just return that pivot. Simple, right? Or else if nums of 0 is lesser than your target, what does it actually mean? You need to think. See here the target is 0, right? Here nums is no, not this. Let it be greater. Okay, nums is their target 0. This 4 is greater than your target, right? 4 is greater than 0. So which means every element which are lesser to this value 4 should be before. They are rotated, right? They are rotated. How we can locate that rotated position? With the help of the pivot. So just do this binary search at where in the nums your start index is going to be what? Pivot plus 1, and end is going to be the same, nums dot length -1, and the target is same. If this doesn't work, just do the binary search. Why I'm just doing this? Just return binary search. Nums start is going to be 0 and end is going to be pivot -1, which means you are searching in this part. So 7 would be the pivot. We don't see 7 as the answer. So search in this part. So pivot -1, what? The target. So yeah, this works. Let's try to run this. Why did I do that? Let's try submitting this. It works 100% time complexity. It's simple. I just forgot a return statement over here. And yeah, other than this, everything works perfectly fine. So hope it is clear. Thank you for watching.